And we are live. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is Jay Angel. I'm going to be your host. And tonight, the first thing I'd like to start out the show by telling you the Northern Illinois Sports and Outdoors Show is going to take place January 13th through the 16th. That's January 13th through 16th of 2022 at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake, Illinois. Tonight, I have a very special guest. He's the vice president of the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club, Gary Dubreuil. Did I say that right, Gary?
You said it correct.
Thank you.
How you doing tonight, Mr. J?
I'm doing very well. If I don't get anything else right, I want to pronounce the person's last name correctly.
Well, you did very well.
Thank you, man. You know, man. Before I got sick, I had the opportunity to go to one of your events. The Cajun Outcast Fishing Club has 12 regular redfish derbies during the year down on the coast in Louisiana, from in places like Delacroix, Chalmette, Shell Beach, and I'm sure I'm missing a few.
We have Hopedale.
Hopedale, man. How could I forget Hopedale? What a great place. They're all great places down there, man. I love that part of the world. Just unfortunately, my job's in Baton Rouge.
South Louisiana, you can't get no better.
Yeah, my job's in Baton Rouge, so I live here. Dang it, you know. I wish I lived down there.
Froze up on me, Mr. J.
Yeah, that happens. I don't know why. But anyways, I hope we're going to be able to do this tonight, Gary. I hope, guys, you know, Gary and I have been trying to do this for a while, and we just either my internet's not working or his internet's not working. It's just been endless problems. I'm really hoping that we get this knocked out tonight because I love talking about the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club. So y'all just had a toy drive. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. We had a toy drive for children at the Children's Hospital in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was a great turnout. We had people that came out and donated from all over the place. We also had a couple of gentlemen that, you know, went out of their way, you know, to have little raffles and giveaways to do it. You know, Mr. Chip Clements, he raised $1,200 for the kids tournament. For the kids
wow.
Job. And then
Mr.
Bojangles, he also, you know, had a giveaway, and he, you know, had like $300 or $400 worth of merchandise that he went out and purchased that was given off of his little raffle, you know, his giveaway, you know, and every little bit counts. You know, it didn't matter if it was $1 or whether it's, you know, $10,000, you know, every little bit helps. Everybody's the same.
I completely agree with you. Man. That's you. The folks out there at Cajun Outcast Fishing Club are very charitable. They made me feel welcome when I came there, you know, just another guy fishing in one of their derbies, and they made me feel welcome. They made me feel like I've been fishing there for a while. And that was my very first event I ever attended over at the Cajun Outcast. I guess the event was out of Chalmette. I had a fantastic time. I caught probably 20 fish, but not one of them measured, so I couldn't weigh in anything. But, you know, that's fishing. It happens.
Exactly. Hey, I went 4 derbies or tournaments, tournaments that I haven't caught. I didn't catch one. So yeah. I was kind of a little upset about it. But, hey, you know, it is what it is. It's all in the game. You know, one day you may catch, the next day you may not.
You know, Gary, your video is frozen, but I can still hear you. So, man, we're just gonna go with this.
Okay, yeah. As long as you can hear me, I can see myself moving, and you freeze up too every once in a while. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, man, you know, I guess this is going to be an audio podcast, but it happens. Anyway, so you guys have regular derbies once a month. Why don't you tell us about that?
That's correct. We have a tournament each month. We pick a designated day. This year coming, we're gonna do half of the tournaments on a Saturday, and then the other half of the tournaments on a Sunday. Instead of having to complete 6 to fish in a championship, you only have to complete 4. So,
okay.
You know, right. Yeah, we want to try to make it a little bit more so more people can get into the championship day. You know, we can understand that, you know, not everybody can fish, you know, at certain times, you know, or either work schedules change or, you know, family events or stuff like that, you know. So we're trying to get both days in to, give each of the guys, because we have people that work on Saturdays, can't make it on a Saturday, so that'll give them the option to get in on a Sunday. And then by doing it half and half, that should give them the opportunity to, get in enough of them to compete in the championship.
Boy, that's man, that's thinking right there.
Right.
I like that.
So we kind of
let's try to include everybody.
Right, and that's what it's about. We want everybody, and we did have a few people last year that mentioned, man, why you can't do it on a Sunday? Well, it's like, yeah, Sunday, most people go to work on a Monday, so it, but Saturday is a little more easier, because you had that one day off between, but hey, everybody's got to give a little to get a little, so it works both ways.
I think I might be one of your Saturday crews.
Hey, that'll be awesome. The other thing is too is that the redfish tournament is now going to be considered as, or known as, the Brandon Atlas Brewer Redfish Memorial Redfish Tournament. Brandon was
go ahead.
Brandon was a good brother of ours. He's also a founding member of the club. He passed away this past year, unexpectedly, and it kind of tore us all apart. And he was our heart and soul of this club. He brought a lot of things to this club. He's done a lot of things for this club, and not only for the club, as for me too, as a personal person. I mean, Brandon served in a service for 18 years.
18
he was
years.
Wow. 18 years service member. Yes, sir. He fought out there and went through some hard times. And I can see how most guys or people that coming back home from them being out there in that situation that they're in, when they come back to our world, it's a whole different world to them. Even though people think, it should be easy to adjust. It's not really easy to adjust. You have a certain limit that you live by.
I was just an air traffic controller in the Air Force, and I never got to go over to a foreign country while I was in the service, and it was not easy for me to adjust. I can't imagine what our boys in the Marines and Army, they actually went over there and fought and saw stuff and did stuff. I can't imagine what they go through trying to adjust back into the world. I just can't imagine. I feel for them. I'm as a fellow veteran, but not one who went through what they went through.
Oh, well, I mean, you still, what I'm saying? You're still a veteran, and I thank you for your service too, Mr. J. It doesn't matter, like you said before, whether it's a little thing or a big thing, it's still a part of a team, so, and the United States Armed Forces is a well-greased machine.
It is. It is. I didn't understand at the time. I was giving up some of the best years of my life.
Well, it can happen, that's for sure. You want to go on to try to do some kind of career with the Army or Navy or the armed services in any way, and then you turn around and, you go do it, and then you come home, and then it's like, when you get home, it's a whole different situation, so.
Yes, it is. It's scary.
To get up early in the morning, doing certain things, certain regimens that they go through, if a service person does, and, they don't get that when they come back home. They don't have that structure, more or less. That's what I can say.
Yes, and then you have to realize that not everybody is dedicated like you have been taught to be. That was a hard part for me. People don't do what they're supposed to do, and you're like, man, you're going to get in trouble. No, they're not going to get in trouble.
Right. So, but that will be our next tournament coming up. You know what I'm saying? Well, that for now on, that will be our tournament's name. The Brandon Atlas Brewer Memorial Redfish Tournament. We'll put it on every year. We'll see what we can do about at the end of the years of seeing about finding a charitable donation. That's something that was near and dear to him. To donate funds and proceeds to that part. Just in his name. Just to say, hey, we love him and we miss him, and and to keep his memory alive. That's the main thing. Keep his memory alive. That's
awesome. That's awesome, Gary. One thing I would like to point out to our guests is that, if you look at this Facebook Cajun Outcast Fishing Club, if you want more information or if you want to get in touch with guys from Cajun Outcast, just go ahead and, log on to, or just go ahead and get onto the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club Facebook page.
Yep, just come and join. It's free to join.
these guys are very responsive if you ask questions. And if you just have a question about fishing on the coast, these guys fish the coast all the time. Guys like Gary, guys like Chad St. Pay, who is the president, and Michael Gillimet, Jeffrey Sands. Geez, and probably 30 more that I'm not mentioning.
Oh yeah, well, I can I can name a bunch of them too.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of them: Joey Biomonte, Tom Alleman, like you said, Jeff and Chris. I mean, Chris. Listen to me, Michael Gulliman. Jeff Sands. They awesome people. You know what I'm saying? They show up for our events. They show up for to help. They always help our organization. Our fishing club in any way possible. And in return, we do the same thing for Nothing But Redfish and also All About Fishing. They some great people. They have a great platform. They own a nice run to being, something like what our club is, and I'm pretty much seeing, where they structure some things just as ours. And I mean, hey, we don't hate against it, and we like I said, they're brothers to us. They came into our club and they showed up and showed out numerous times and done things for us in so many ways. And if there's any way that we could ever help them, they know that we're going to be right back on their side too. When they get a little more bigger and they start doing events and, getting into, maybe some kind of, little, there's no telling what's in their future, so whether it's fishing tournaments or anything, I'll definitely be a part of it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Those two are a class act. I've had them on the show a couple of times, They're a class act. I like helping them out too. Just like I like helping you guys out. I always talk about.
We appreciate it, Mr. J. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. We do. We hear you. Every time I'm on, I hear your podcasts. I hear you talking about the Cajun Outcast. It's I can't tell you that I can see every one of them because I mean these days, actually I'm just starting to slow down. So, from these storms that's just been going on and down here in South Louisiana, it's just, got us busy. So, but I'm trying my best to do everything I can.
Sure. All I ask is that you guys take me fishing once in a while. That's it, man. I am in this to one of the big perks of being a podcaster is I get to fish with good people like y'all,
Well, you're more than welcome on any of our next tournaments that come up when we start setting the dates or whatever, and you can tell me a day that you want to make it. We'll put you on a boat. There ain't no problem with that. I got a boat. It's ready to go. It's not, so that's all we got to do.
I hope I don't lose you. Well, anyways, Gary is here. Gary's a great guest of mine. I've tried to have him on a couple of times. The problem with StreamYard's a great platform, but the problem is you have to have really good cell service. And in southern Louisiana, you don't always have good cell service. I live probably 8 miles outside of Baton Rouge, and it's hard for me to believe that I would not have good cell service here, but I don't. But
can you hear me? Am I back on with you?
You're back on, man. I'm glad you're back.
All right.
I'm glad you're back. I was just chattering when you were gone.
Right. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear every word you're saying.
You can hear me complaining about AT&T, huh?
Yes, sir. I sure can. You pay a lot of money for a service that, it's don't work half the time, so.
My wife told me how much we pay a month for AT&T, and I went through the roof. This just happened today. And I'm like, what? What are we paying for? What do we get for that? What do we get for that? Dang, for $500.
Verizon. I hate to tell you that, Verizon. I've been having Verizon since Katrina. I haven't had a problem. Not a problem.
That thank you very much for the yeah. But man, so you tell me you really like to fish for trout and guys, for those of you up north, he's talking about the speckled trout, which is a completely different animal than the trout you guys have up north, which I also like. Man, my favorite fish is the fish I have hooked right now. But tell me, so you like to fish for trout. What is your favorite method to fish for trout?
My favorite methods to fishing trouts usually, you got warm, summertime, and then you got wintertime feeding patterns. And, so wintertime, I go down a little bit. I fish with, just a plastic edge swim shad. Could be in any different colors, but most times, they pretty much will hit on live shrimp. We'll have finicky days where they're finicky or their mouths are soft or whatever. They don't feel like you don't feel like they want to bite too much. You throw some dead. But mainly I fish with a Undertaker caulk, under about 2.5 to 3 foot sometimes. Sometimes it could be 16, just say 16 to 32 inches in depth. And I fish with a live shrimp, and I basically fish, marsh areas, water movement areas, where you see the water moving a lot, you know what I'm saying? Fish, trout, they're a swimming fish, and when they're moving, they will eat, and that's their pattern, So when you catching them on the move, they will eat whatever you throw at them, so you can start them off with a live shrimp, then you can throw a plastic at them, and then they'll off the plastic, and then just throw another live or a piece of dead or something to get them back in it, and usually they're pretty good with that. But it's sometimes in the wintertime it's hit and miss too, you know what I'm saying? Because you get these north winds that come in, it pushes all the water out. Then you have these high winds too. You can't get into the lakes because the lakes get really rough and the water's really dirty, so it's a whole different time of the year when wintertime comes.
I agree with that. I think my favorite way to catch speckled trout is with soft, the soft plastic swim baits. If I can work one of those slowly and just either bounce it off the bottom or just reel it in, the trout don't seem to care. They just like to eat those things.
Right. If they move and they got to eat, that's the number one goal with the trout. When they move and in order for them to keep that strength of swimming in them currents that they're swimming in, they got, colder water, they may not bite as much, and you might have to throw, like you said, the soft plastics at them, or then we get certain times of the year where the shrimp moved out, so we don't really get shrimp down here. So then you can move to the swim shads, the soft plastics, tsunami. That's more or less what I fish with. I also fish with Voodoo. I fish with Mojo tackle. I try to throw a variety of stuff out there to them. So
well, you like
L&L lures.
You like the Voodoo shrimp?
I do like the Voodoo shrimp. They had a shrimp color that they discontinued that I really wish they wouldn't have, because it used to be my favorite color and I used to catch fish on it, but I don't know why they discontinued it, because I hardly ever seen them on the shelf. So I would think that if they was buying them up, then they wouldn't discontinue the color. So I don't know what the deal with that was. I surely would like to know though. It was a parrot called parrot color, and it had a pink body and with it had a pinkish tint to the body with a pearl tint to it, with the yellow eyes.
I'll tell you what, pink is one of my favorite colors. When I was up north, when I first started fishing walleye tournaments, I used to pay big bucks to have original Rapala floaters. A guy would take them in for $10 a piece. He would paint those pink for me. And one time I got a whole Plano box of those things, probably $2,000 worth of them, stolen out of my boat after I was fishing a tournament. I was sitting there, and my buddy got a couple of G Loomis rods stolen. I got my. Don't ever leave anything out. We were 40 feet away at the weigh-in. We were 40 feet away at the weigh-in. I got my pink Rapala stolen, and my buddy was, let's just say, he was well armed, and I catch that guy. I tell you what, you will not have to drive me home tonight.
Right. You can come in my yard. You might steal my lawnmower or take a ladder or something like that. But you take my fishing stuff, you asking for it, And we live in South Louisiana where the alligators are thick,
Yes. Oh man, yes, but I do like the color pink. So yes, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's just a lot of people don't understand how great of a color that is. That for fishing and from northern Illinois all the way down here. I've caught them up in Minnesota on pink. I've caught them in Wisconsin and Michigan, South Louisiana, and a lot of places in between. It's just, But I think,
Well, you
guys
get to
just,
travel a lot, I got to say, Mr. J, because I don't travel that much and I don't get to fish all around the world like that. I mean, I do have a few things I'd love to do. I've never been out deep sea fishing yet, so that'll be a bucket list thing, I guess. We had a trip planned for last year, but one of the storms came in and kind of wrecked it for us. So it was like, okay, well, our trip was postponed, so we didn't reschedule yet. So, but it seems
yeah,
that always that time around August, if we got, and that's the time to be out there actually, because the fish are moving and biting really good out in August. But then you always got that threat of hurricanes coming in the Gulf. It's
when it's 98 degrees and 100% humidity, man, the fish bite.
Oh yeah,
nothing's going on in the freshwater.
no, no. Cooking. That's what they're doing, cooking.
Yeah, they'll just sit there trying not to die.
Right.
And so that's the time to get out there, guys. Actually, right now when the fish are bunched up because it's cold, you'll find them in the deeper water.
Exactly.
Particularly
water's not as cold as it is up on top.
Yeah, but particularly the redfish are going to be bunched up in the bottom, and that's my favorite marsh fish is the redfish. I know you like a lot of Louisianans like their trout, and I don't have anything against trout.
I like redfish too. I mean, I'm not, I've never been. My daddy always told me, don't kill what you don't eat. So I really don't eat. I don't eat big redfish. I like to eat 16-inch redfish. They 16 inches. I'll eat them like that because they don't have that strong taste in them.
Oh yeah, I like the ones probably up to about 22 inches. Up to about 22 inches, I'll eat them. I really enjoy them. I like putting them on the half shell, or if they're a little bit bigger than that, 24, I might fry them. You still there, Gary?
Well, it seems right. We got. Oh, there we go.
Good. I was just telling the folks how I'll fry them if they're like over 20, if between 22 and 24, but more than that, I like to release them and let them spawn next year.
Right. I try to let most of my big ones go. The smaller ones, I have friends that eat them. So, I mean, or family members, and I'll take them in and give them to them, or we'll save some fish for, if we're having a fish fry, or if we have something coming up with an event with the club or something, we'll try to save fish, that way we can try to raise money for some of our stuff that we do, for the events that we put on, because, nobody at the club takes a pay, and, we all do everything that we do for the love of fishing, and
sure,
the love of giving too. So, we love to give to charities. We love to do everything that we can for kids and women. That's what we base our club off of. We try to help more women and children. We do have a lot of women that's out there that, their men's in the service, and vice versa. That's women too, that are in the service, not around, and we're trying to promote to the moms, to help teach them how to fish. And in return, it'll help teach the kids how to fish and get them off of the computers and the phones and out back into the world, where we've where I grew up as a kid anyway. We didn't have all these things when we was young like that, Mr. J. We didn't have phone and internet and all that, and it's so now these days it's a whole different thing. Kids want to catch a fish, they'll go online or a fishing game,
My mom used to kick us out in the morning on the weekends or during the summers, and man, I'd be gone till 5 o'clock,
Yep. From the sun up to the sun down. When the street lights come, you better have your butt home.
If I needed a drink, I could walk up and just about anybody's house and turn on their hose and get myself a drink. Yeah, just the way it was back then. You could do that without getting shot back then. I spent most of my days fishing, of course.
I did the same thing. I spent most of my days fishing. We go out and get a pound of shrimp or something like that, and if we wasn't catching fish, we start a little fire and stick a shrimp on a stick. It's just kids things.
Okay, come on. If you need to go past.
Nope.
You just got to see my stepdaughter there real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, hello to you.
Yeah. Well, hey Gary, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do? Talk about the sponsors, the supporters of the club, people who've helped you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would like to we'd like to thank a lot of these guys are our sponsors, and we have a few sponsors that's in the club. Everyone helps out in every way, and every time we have a little giveaway or something, or they're more than happy to kick in and help us out in any way possible. So I'll just start from the top and keep going because there's a bunch. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly Levine with L&L Lewis. Undertaker Carts with Mr. Kenny Krieger. Got to say they make an awesome product.
Good guy.
This car key I've been having for almost 8 months now. You can see it's still pretty much in good shape. I've caught plenty fish on this one car. Mr. Greg Combo with Mojo Tackle. He's another one of our big sponsors, and he puts out a pretty good product too. He puts out a real good product. I caught a few fish from the last trip I went out on it. And like I said, wintertime patterns, they'll hit and miss on certain things, So let's see, we got Bo's Custom Rods, Mr. Bo Jennels, Cajun Reels, Red Alert with Mr. Keith Fusel.
There you go.
Yeah. Narco Tackle, Blake Phillips. Fillets all blades, bad to the bone, no doubt. Mr. Paul Bates. Let's see, Death Grip Jig Heads, Lane Zimmerman, Sinkers by the Pound, Mr. Chip Clement. Let's see, who else we got? We got Paris Lewis, Mr. Kevin. Read that, but I know his name's Kevin. Hook and Line, go see Mr. Mac over there at Hook and Line. They really good people over there. You get some good stuff. Viking Kayaks, Mr. Brian Dunn. All Set TV, Mr. Stephen Burkle. Hook On, the Hook Ons, Mr. Baron Brechtel. Drake Baits by Drake Pincoit. Poincott. And I think that's all right there, Mr. J.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have everybody's product. I'm in the middle of redecorating and remodeling my shed. So, we did an add-on and I got everything tore up. You might see my fishing poles up there on top of my head. But
I do. Your video's been frozen for most of this broadcast, but that's just technical difficulties. I do apologize to everybody about technical difficulties we've had.
It's okay. As long as we get the point out and people can still hear, we good.
Yeah, we did get the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club. Come on, guys. If you want more information about the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club, please just log on to their Facebook page there. It's easy. It's Cajun Outcast Fishing Club.
Right.
I'd like to thank you, Mr. Gary, for coming on the show. I know you're a very busy man.
Oh yeah, very, very busy. But we trying, Mr. J. The world's opening back up, so between the COVID and everything, we wasn't able to do some of the things that we've been love to do the last couple of years. We love to do our kids fishing rodeo every year. Last 2 years it's been out. This next year we're coming up. We're trying to put it on. We're gonna have a fish fry pretty soon to try to generate the funds so we can buy the poles because we spend $1,000 on poles. Everything that we take from the kids fishing rodeo, it comes out of the club. We don't take a cut out of it. All the donations that come in, they go towards whatever charity that we picked at the time. Last time we did it was for DARE and Battered Women's Shelters of St. Bernard. The Crawfish Festival we did the year before that. We did for St. Bernard Autism. We also, we give so much. We gave to the Children's Hospital for the last couple of years. We've been one of their biggest donations, and we try to, again, it's kids. We love kids. We want to, promote fishing to kids. We want to get them all out there and get them on the water, get them hooked. Because once you get them hooked on that one fish, it's all over from there. Every one of them can have. Some of them can have a bad trip and go out and not catch a fish. And it could be a bad day. But to us, a bad day of fishing is a good day on the water. So. But to a kid, it's not like that. You have to keep their attention to it. But so pretty soon we'll hopefully to have a fish fry to try to generate the money, and that way this year we can go ahead and put on our kids rodeo.
Well, thank you very much. These guys, I really encourage you if you're at all close to the South Louisiana, get in touch with these guys. Come out to one of their fishing derbies. You're gonna have a good time. you're going to have a
Definitely.
good time, you know. Well,
We are
with
no
that,
drama club, so that's for sure. We're no drama. We'll play around a little bit, but we don't, we don't allow that drama stuff, So if you like my buddy and my president and my brother, Mr. Chad St. Pay, as he says, if it don't matter if you come out and you fish with a cane pole and a spark plug, you know what I'm saying? You just, as long as you're fishing and doing what you love to do, it doesn't matter how you do it.
I do agree. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming again, Gary. In closing, you're very welcome. In closing, I'd like to tell the folks that the Northern Illinois Sports and Outdoor Show will take place from January 13th to the 16th of 2022. That's going to take place at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake, Illinois. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. And have a Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas to all and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Oh.